Hello and welcome, dear viewers, to a new episode of the Business Insider live on Nile TV International. And we're going to be shedding the light today on the space industry in Egypt and where it has reached so far. And of course, also we're going to be shedding the light on the initiatives nurtured by the Egyptian government to boost this very important field and this very important industry. And to shed more light on this topic, we're most delighted to be joined here in the studio by Dr. Khaled Kamel, the head of the Space Communication Faculty at Bani Suef University. A very good evening, Doctor, and thank you so much for joining us on the Business Insider.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
The pleasure is all ours, sir. So, dear viewers, as I mentioned, we're going to be shedding the light on this very significant industry and where has Egypt reached so far. But first, we're going to be going for a quick break, and then we'll be back to resume our discussion with our guest here in the studio live on the Business Insider. Welcome back, dear viewers. You're watching Business Insider live on Nile TV International. And in tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about the importance of space technology and its role in achieving Egypt's Vision 2030 in line, of course, with the Sustainable Development Goals. And first of all, Dr. Khaled, if you can just give us a glimpse about the role of space technology and this science in general.
Yeah. First of all, space technology is not for the space. Space technology is for the benefits of the humanity on Earth. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the pillars that we need to understand about space. Mm-hmm. When we study the space, means we study the Earth from the space, mm-hmm. or study the universe that we are all living within. Mm-hmm. It's galaxies and its astronauts. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about the space technology, we have sciences and we have engineering. The science means the astrophysics, the astronautics, which is the science concerned with the stars and the orbits and the space and the moon and all of the planets that is floating around us. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about the engineering, means that we need to engineer some equipments to stay in the space to give us some benefits on the Earth. Mm-hmm. So space technology includes a mix of different sciences and engineering disciplines, mechanical, electrical, space, security, artificial intelligence, everything. Mm-hmm. And all of that is mixed together to give us a benefit. Mm-hmm. We have space in the satellites. We have telescopes in the universe, and we in the orbits, the low orbits. They need to give us some insights on the far stars or old objects in the space. So this is what usually the programs of the space generally concerned with.
Yes. Also, I believe that there has been some challenges that might face developing countries to proceed or to make progress in this field. What's your thoughts about this topic?
Yeah. First of all, when we talk about the space for the developing countries need to, it is time to launch programs mm-hmm. that suits its economies and suits its capabilities. Mm-hmm. The capabilities of the space include the launching capabilities, means the ability to launch a space object or the spacecraft in the low orbits or high orbits in the space. Mm-hmm. Launch using rockets, and this is difficult for the developing countries to be a part of it in the time being.
Yes, I believe also it's costly, very costly.
Very expensive, mm-hmm. yeah. And also there are a lot of aspects that need to be considered, mm-hmm. like the get rid of the debris out of this. Mm-hmm. We all know the common story of the debris of the International Space Station by China. Mm-hmm. So who launched a program for that need to be ready for how to get rid of the debris in case of the plan B, what if the program fails, and all of that stuff. But there is a good opportunity for us to start after this point, to have a satellite already launched by by common and expert entities, and they are known to us in the world. And we start from there, having some sort of applications of the space, like remote sensing applications, and this give us a lot of impact on the economy and the digital transformation programs that we have today.
Yes. Yes. Speaking about the digital transformation, if you can tell us, sir, the role of advancing in this field, and also how can advancing in this field lead to the economic flourishment and its impact on the economy of the countries that are concerned with this industry?
Yeah. The digital transformation generally is the use of technology to have some impacts on, or let's say, effect on the economy of the countries, economies of the companies, economies of a key sustainable solutions within the country. So if we, for example, the agriculture field. The agriculture field depends on yield of crops that we need to make sure that we give it the maximum productivity that we can give. And we also have resources like the water, like the fertilizers and all of that stuff that impact positively or negatively the agriculture environment. So the space can help in that, because if we have a good remote sensing capabilities in the space, being able to detect the vegetations, to detect the cycle of the process in the agriculture, also the water logging, the water needs for the yield or for this type of crops, then we can control. If we know this information, we can control exactly what the quantity of water needed to make this happen. So it's a matter of knowing and understanding, and then to take the proper action based on that. So if we use the space, in that case, if we have a satellites that could, for example, sense the needs through the imaging process of the satellite, we can analyze this image and get some sort of interpretation on the degree of the readiness of this plant to the water. Also the syndromes and the infections that could affect negatively the yield out of these agriculture cycles. So all of that stuff is a part of or a target or objective out of the space programs for us as a developing country. So satellite image spacing, one of the satellite image analysis is one of the key targets that we need to address in our programs and near-coming programs.
Yes. Dr. Khaled, also, if you can tell us about the relation between space technology and advancing in space technology and achieving the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yeah, sustainability, in its general meaning, the continuity for the environment, for us, the continuity of the environment and the continuity of the economy also as well. So we need to ensure a continuous environment. We need to make sure that the warming effect on our environment is limited, for example. So we are all living in one environment, and we need to make sure that this environment is suitable for us for a long term. To achieve this goal, we need to understand what are the impacts of our actions as a human being on the environment. So for the carbon dioxide footprint, for example, we have a carbon dioxide footprint because of the industry that is not maybe respecting the environment, the fuel consumptions. All of the world generally now go to the renewable sources of energy to lower down the consumptions of the fuel and thus the carbon dioxide footprint. So to be able to measure that, to be able to identify the areas of non-compliance of these industries or these factories with the rules or the standards that is now obliged by the world, then we have a room to make a sustainable environment. Not only for us as a country, but for the world, because the world at this point become one entity. If there is a problem in the North Pole, for example, will impact everything on the Earth and level of the sea will increase, and thus we will be in a threat. So the space programs, one of the key objective here in the sustainability is to measure this type of cloud and the increase in the carbon dioxide footprint, to understand and pinpoint the area of non-compliance of this worldwide. So if there is some sort of regulations, it becomes important to control the non-compliance with these regulations. And there is a great opportunity and a great potential for the space programs to be able to be part of this.
Yes. Dr. Khaled, also if you can tell us about the achievements of the EXA, or the Egyptian Space Agency so far, and where does it stand from other space agencies in terms of advancement and achievements?
Yeah, the EXA has a programs as any other agency, space agency in the world. We have NASA, for example, the space agency for the States, and we have the same for Japan and for Russia. It's a good step from the Egyptian governments to go for this type of preparations for the space program. When we talk about the space, then there should be a space program. The space program is managed by the space agencies. And also the orientation of the nation to the space programs should be governed by the space agencies. On the other side, also from the educational perspective, there should be schools specialized in this type of technologies to develop the calibers needed for this type of programs. So we have a space agency that is now working on programs, and also some of it are for remote sensing perspective, some of it are for the internet and the communication perspective, and we should have our own satellites designed by us. And the domestic contribution in this satellite should be as much as higher than before. So if we have, for example, 20 to 30% contribution in a satellite, it should be 60 to 70%. This make a domestic industries for the space. So we have the space program, and we have industries that support the space program. We have a lot of ministries now involved in this type of industries, like the Ministry of Military Production, Egypt. And we have also the educational side that develop these calipers for these programs. So we have a triangle of three vertices supporting each other. We have in Egypt now the first school of navigation science and the space technology, not only in Egypt, but also in the Middle East and Africa. And this is beside Israel. And this school is specialized in the navigation science and the space technology. And this school, the country is moving towards having more schools in the same disciplines and the same specialities. And also we have a common programs with international presence of universities like CBNZ in Italy, for example, and Rome. And we have a lot of programs that we are preparing to be a joint program with the other side of the world that has the experience in this field. We need to develop a very specialized calibers for this purpose.
Yes. Dr. Khaled, so those undergraduates that are interested in this field, what should they aim to be when they graduate? Astronauts, or are there other fields?
Yeah, it's actually one of the targets to be astronauts, but it needs a specific preparation after being graduated in the external environments. But also we have specialists in satellite image analysis, for example. We need a specialist in navigation and the control of satellites. And this area is very important. The security aspect, how to secure this channel to be oriented to us, not to others. How to develop and to design the mission, because any space program has a mission. And what we call it mission analysis. And the mission analysis for the space means the target is not to put a satellite in an orbit. The target is to have a mission accomplished with this satellite in this orbit. So he needs to design this. So we develop the caliper to be able to design this mission and to analyze it and to understand the factors affecting this mission. It could be space factors like solar winds, for example, and to understand the design in the space. The design in the space is totally different than the design on Earth.
They're very interesting, and also there's a diversity of fields and specializations, as you have kindly mentioned. Also, speaking about the educational programs, can you walk us through, Dr. Khaled, the main initiatives or the programs in the Egyptian universities, and where do we stand in this regard?
Most of the Egyptian universities in the School of Engineering is following in the communication and the mechanics departments and the mechanics programs, have a specialty, but a small specialty in the satellite design and communication, for example. So we have this in programs of communication. We have this in some programs, we call it space communication. We have it in programs for the aerospace, for example. We have an aerospace department in the School of Engineering in Cairo University. Also, this is the most dominated type of education that we have till 2017. After that, the government in Egypt decided to have the specialty with all of its aspects. We have this type of technology, the mix of science and engineering. It is not only engineering. So the student study 5 years. In these 5 years, he studied the science, the physics, the astrophysics, the astronautics, the principles and the basic science, and he studied engineering as well. So this makes, we have it
like a double major.
Double major. And this is, we are following, we are not initiating this, we are following the similar programs. The similar programs, yes, in other universities in the States. We are following the same here in Egypt to make sure that we are on the standard of having a caliper specialized in this.
So, Doctor, what about the appetite of the students? Are they applying a lot to this major, or it's still gaining momentum? Tell us more about that.
Far beyond expectations. Far beyond expectations. When we started the school, for example, we request 50 students per intake. We receive an application. We receive applications for 200 students.
So more than the double.
More than the double. So and also the type of study and the enthusiasm and the motivation of the students within the faculty and the way they are doing the projects, it's far beyond our expectations. We are expecting to have something potential for our country out of this intake.
Yes. What about the future, Dr. Khaled, as an expert of this industry here in Egypt? Are we one day, as we're achieving milestones on different fronts, the new republic as announced by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, where do you see Egypt standing in the future in this industry?
Based on His Excellence, we have a lot of change, but transformation in every domain in the country. We have a transformation in the agriculture, transformation in the infrastructure, transformation in the mining, transformation in the industry.
Yes.
So this transformation, even in the archaeology, every aspect of transformation needs a support. Support technology, I mean technology support. So the technology is terrestrial technology, is air technology, is space technology. So
and they are all interconnected.
They are all interconnected. And what we are, for example, in the mining, we have now a technology of radars that support us to get some information about the mining exercise, even in the infrastructure. If we are, for example, starting a new project and we need to scan the infrastructure beyond this to avoid any damages unexpected or whatsoever, we can use the space.
I believe also in the gas and oil exploration.
In the oil and gas, exactly. We have also the same, the piping control, the protection against terroristic effects, all of that stuff. The space play a vital role in that. So the space is also supported by the air. So, for example, you can have a space program supported by air drones, for example.
Yes.
and the drones supported by a terrestrial. The technology together make a change and make a transformational step in this wonderful plan.
Yes.
Because I see that if we are keeping the same pace, we will reach a very good position in, I see, in 2023.
Yes. Very interesting, and makes all Egyptians proud. Also, sir, if you can shed the light on the Egyptian government's initiatives in supporting this field.
The initiatives now, we have a lot of, we have some private companies that start working in the part of the analysis. And we have also initiatives by the Space Agency and some programs supporting the internet activities in the rural areas to enable, because if we are talking about sensing technology in the agriculture, we need to make it connected. How to make it connected? We need the support from the air, from the space, to ensure the internet connectivity in a very easy way. So there is a lot of, there is some initiatives, there are some initiatives also from the Ministry of Communication in that area. But again, we are still working on this in a direction to ensure 100% infrastructure enabling this type of transformation. We need 100% infrastructure covering every aspect, covering the education, for example, covering the domestic applications, covering the other type of applications like the mining and the oil and the gas and that stuff. We need a good infrastructure that's supporting all of that. One of the programs supported by the initiative of the government is the space program that enable the internet over the satellite. And I think this is one of the key initiatives on that. Also, there was another initiative that we were focusing on the water logging using some what we call ground penetrating radars, which can give us some insights on the at a depth of like 20 to 3 meters below the surface of the earth, which give us some insights on the soil profile, the minerals, the type of crops that could be implanted in these areas. And this helps us a lot to select the best crops suitable for this area, the water needs, and also the circulation and the flow of the water expected across these regions under study by the space or by the drones.
Yeah, so speaking about water, sir, I'm curious to know, are there any technology or technological advancements that can combat water scarcity?
Yeah, water scarcity is you know that we have a big challenge now, and I see that the challenge gives us an opportunity also, because the challenge gives us an opportunity to be a part of, to improve, to develop technologies either in the water treatment or the water desalination from a perspective, and we reach a very good step in that. In some cases, the water is recirculated 2 or 3 times with the same benefit or the same impact. Also, I need to understand the sources of water, the possibility and the potential that we have in the underground water. And this is an important step also to be on the line or on the way to relieve the load on the Nile River to other sources of water for the agriculture purpose. We have a need for water for like, I think, 80 billion cubic meter. And we have now 60 billion cubic meter. This is published figures, and we have some sort of different that we need to accommodate from the other sources. So we need to use the technology to ensure the recycling of the water, to ensure the getting of finding better suitable sources. And I mean by suitable that not all the sources that we get is suitable for the application.
Yes.
Also, some of the advancement that is made, that in some researches done in Egypt, we succeed to ensure the production of the same quantity of yield using less water, using almost 40% of the water needs. So if, for example, to deliver like 100 ton of a specific crop using, say, 100 meter cube of water, we succeed to achieve the same target using 60 to 40 cubic meter of water. So means we achieve the same target using lower quantity of water, and all of these are technologies.
So has it been implemented, sir?
pilot cases, and we are working on transfer it from the research plane to the implementation plane.
Also, another important aspect, sir, as you may know, that Egypt will be hosting in 2022 the COP 27, the UN, and we are exploiting every opportunity to have environment-friendly industries. And what about the role of space technology? Does it have a role to play in climate change and coping with this?
Yeah. The climate change actually, you know that the climate change mainly because of the exhaust. And the exhaust is coming from the appetite of the human being to get more and more technology and advancement, but this is against our universe because we have a lot of tons of carbon dioxide.
Harmful emissions.
Yeah, harmful emissions. Not only carbon dioxide, but a lot of other gases that may be also harmful, like the NOx's and a lot of other gases. And one of the key targets is to understand 2 points. First, to be able to measure this type of harmful emissions and to understand its profile of propagation, and also to understand the sources that is non-compliant with the regulations put by the country. So we have a lot of initiatives. For example, if we are getting rid of some plants in a specific area, then this is a violation. This is a non-compliance with the regulation because we should, if we getting rid of one tree, we should make sure that we save the carbon dioxide that is saved by this tree.
Yes.
So this type of invasions, this type of non-compliances, this type of non-conformity and invasion to the agriculture and the green area, not only because of building on these areas, but also that we are giving the chance to have more harmful emission that is not absorbed by these green areas.
Yes.
The space detects all of that because the space is looking from a holistic view. And so we can see a big area and the big field, and we can see the changes that is that happened. You can imagine that the low Earth satellite visiting the same point maybe 11 times per day. So we can, if we have
paying specific attention to every single detail.
Exactly. So if we have a capture in every time, then we can get the chronologically change, the change with time.
Yeah, and we can also see any indicators of any impact or change.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sir, what about the challenges that we are facing in this industry now, and how can we overcome them?
Mainly, from my point of view, and this is the philosophy that we are following in our in the program that we are part of it, because I'm also consultant in several programs in the government. What is important now to focus on the remote sensing activities out of the space. This is one of the key focus areas, not the launching. The launching comes after that. But we need to make sure that we are mastering in a big integrated extent the use of already launched craft in the space. Also the alliances with the countries that has a good experience in this area. This is very important. And we have also now joint research programs with some of these universities, supporting also the EXA in some of the areas that they are working on. So research and R&D is very important to develop our own identity, because we in Egypt need an identity in this in the space map. So we need to develop the identity. If it is difficult for time being to develop the identity in the launching and to have our own satellite being launched by our arms, then we can have the identity in the analysis and in the design and in the mission control and that stuff that helps us as a country to have an identity in the space map.
Yes. Doctor, is there any collaboration between EXA, the Egyptian Space Agency, and the universities across the country?
Yeah, EXA is supporting some of the programs educational-wise across the country. Like we have a program, the iSpace program, which they are developing what we call the educational satellite. And they have these programs launched, I think, like 1 year ago. and they start like 3 days ago there was a big launch for the program because it comes to a conclusion, and we have 3 universities or 4 universities having this start of these iSpace labs in the presence of Dr. Khaled the Ministry of Higher Education. And also we have a clear collaboration between the School of Space Technology and the EXA in common programs. We have programs for R&D that is supported by university and supported by EXA, and we are developing this program we have challenges, but we are developing, we are trying to reach something in that, and we are looking for have more and more collaboration in the area. As any bodies in the start stage or the start phase, a lot of challenges is being faced. But at the end of the day, it's our rule to fight and to get to the point.
As we're wrapping up, Dr. Khaled, I would like to listen to your closing remarks and recommendations, please.
First recommendation is I'm inviting the community, not only the specialists, to understand the space, because the space now becomes a part, an ingredient in everything, in the medicine, in the industry, in the everything, in transportation. So every citizen, every human being on our earth should understand what is the benefit that he can take from the space, beside the internet connectivity, because all of us know that we can take internet. The second point that I'm arguing and encouraging the researchers, we have a PhD students and we have a master degree students that is working in this area, but I need to encourage more and more to reach a real industrial solutions, not only a theoretical or academic solutions. And this is, I think we have programs now and we are working it, but we need to reach like 5 to 6 times what we are today to keep the pace with the world. We are not alone.
Yes, indeed.
We need to keep our leadership.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Khaled Yousef Kamel, the head of the Space Technology Communication Department at Bani Suef University, we really appreciate your insight, and thank you so much for being with us live on the Business Insider.
Thank you so much, and the pleasure is mine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And dear viewers, by this we come to the end of tonight's episode of the Business Insider. We talked about space technology and its importance as it serves or benefits almost every single aspect in our life. And dear viewers, you are in the company of myself, Karim Gamaluddin, and thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned as a lot more is coming up on Nile TV International.